WWL Louisiana News at 5 begins with breaking news.
You know, these men who wear pointy hats and carry staffs and wear robes and wear fancy jewelry and gold chalices, they covered up child rape.
You know, I'm not trying to make him out to be some saint. You know, obviously, the crimes that he committed were serious and horrible acts.
And it should not be this difficult to investigate and prosecute an admitted rapist, and it was.
A rape victim's attorney, the defense, and the district attorney react to a historic moment in the New Orleans clergy sex abuse scandal as a pedophile priest, Lawrence Hecker, pleads guilty. Admitted pedophile priest Lawrence Hecker, now a convicted rapist. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Cherise Gibson. Hecker pled guilty today on all 4 counts of rape, kidnapping, crimes against nature, and theft.
Yeah, WWL Chief Investigative Reporter David Hammer and our reporting partner Ramon Vargas have been investigating Hecker for years now. They broke the news live for us this morning on WWL Plus. David is joining us in the studio tonight with the details of today's shocking guilty plea. David?
Yeah, Katie and Cherise, when Ramon and I confronted Hecker on camera in August 2023, he confessed to molesting several underage boys who he said were 100% willing. But he's always denied having sex with anyone against his will until now.
2 weeks before pedophile priest Lawrence Hecker was arrested and charged with child rape and kidnapping, Ramon Vargas of The Guardian and I asked him about those very same allegations.
Have you choked a child until he was unconscious and then raped him?
No.
You deny that you ever raped anybody against their will?
Yes.
Hecker's defense attorney Bobby Hortzberg didn't know his client would change his tune on the morning of his rape trial.
Now, he said to me on camera in August that he had never had sex with anybody against their will. That's exactly what he's charged with here, and now he's admitting that?
Well, David, you know there's a huge difference between what you say on camera and what you say in a courtroom under oath. Today, what he said is that he's pleading guilty. He's taking responsibility for his actions, and you know everyone will have an opportunity to move forward in any way they can.
Did he specifically admit that he choked this person and caused him to go unconscious and then had sex with him?
He pled guilty to all the crimes that he was charged with.
The victim's attorney, Richard Trahant, was as surprised as anyone that Hecker folded.
Larry Hecker is going to pay the piper, and I hope he suffers miserably. I have no forgiveness in my heart. I've seen too much of what this man has done.
Trahant said the guilty plea is bittersweet for his client, who first reported what happened to the church in 1975 and couldn't get police to investigate until 2022.
My client is extremely disappointed that he wasn't able to be in the courtroom to hear Hecker admit what he did to him.
But he cheered District Attorney Jason Williams for pressing the case, and Williams said the result is for all of Hecker's victims.
The judge took great pains to make sure that Lawrence Hecker understood everything that was happening. He clearly did. As I've said on these steps a number of times, he pled guilty to every single count. He understands that when we come back on the 18th, the judge is going to sentence him to life sentence. And I believe this investigation and this prosecution represents a critical moment for some little boys who are now men.
Louisiana State Police investigator Scott Rodrigue and then DA Williams overcame efforts to keep the church's files on Hecker a secret.
And it should not be this difficult to investigate and prosecute an admitted rapist, and it was.
But in the end, the 93-year-old Hecker will spend the remainder of his life as a convicted child rapist incarcerated.
There is no better result the district attorney could have gotten. There just isn't.
Now, the Archdiocese of New Orleans declined to respond to criticism about how it protected Hecker and kept his files on him secret, but it provided this statement. It is our hope and prayer that today's court proceedings bring healing and peace to the survivor and all survivors of sexual abuse. We continue to hold all survivors in prayer.
So, David, the question is now, what happens with Hecker? Is he going to jail?
Yeah, well, he's going to be sentenced on December 18th by Judge Nandy Campbell, and it is an automatic life sentence. Now, he's suffering from dementia and is currently being held in a long-term care facility on the West Bank, and he just might remain there when he's sent to prison. We just don't know that yet.
Okay, well, I know you're going to keep tabs on it for us. Thanks so much. And we will have continuing coverage with victims expected to confront Hecker at that sentencing hearing. Again, it's coming up on December 18th, and you can find the latest on our website, our free smartphone app, and our social media pages in the meantime.